Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Melissa Goodstein, and I'm currently the immediate past president of the New York Association of Collaborative Professionals, and I'm thrilled today to continue my collaborative chat series. And we're speaking today with Ariella Deutsch, who is a partner at Berkman, Bachner, Newman, and Shine in New York City. Practices, although the firm deals, has offices in Westchester and the Island. You're all over, yeah, in the metro area. Yeah. And where are you focused on Ariella? Is it Ariella or Ariella? And I have a daughter, Ariel, so I should know this.
So, Melissa, I tell everybody that I will answer to anything. You could spend the entire chat calling me Danielle, and I'd be going with it. Um, it's very thoughtful of you to ask, and I say Ariella,
Ariella. Ariella. Okay, very
like
good.
your daughter.
Okay, very good. So, Ariella, where is your base of practice? Do you practice in what office of the firm do you practice in?
So, I consider myself a New York City-based attorney. I recently moved with my family to Westchester.
Oh,
And
really?
it's a very big transition after living in the city and in Brooklyn for a long
Wow.
time. And so I'm slowly making the shift to think about myself as like more of a Westchester based attorney, but probably my home base still feels like it's Manhattan.
Where did you move to? What part of Westchester?
I'm right in White Plains.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right. Well, welcome. Where did you
Thank
grow
you.
up? Yeah, I'm up in Katona, so we're kind of neighbors a little bit. Yeah. So
I grew,
where did you grow up?
I grew up in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And my husband is from the Bronx, and his family is still in the Bronx, his parents, and my brother in law and sister in law are in Westchester. And so that's what brought us up in this direction. If something was going to pull us away from the city, we wanted to be near our family.
Yeah. Where in New Jersey? What town did you grow up in?
Grew up in Clifton, which is
Okay.
Fayette County, and my dad commuted into the city. So like in the before COVID times, we're living in, the bridge and tunnel meant
Right, right,
we
right.
had that 5 day a week.
Oh my God, that's a grind. That's tough, right? So did you go to college around? Where did you complete your education?
So I went to college in Manhattan. I was one of those suburban kids who just like thought there was nothing better in the world than being in the city. So
Oh, it's the
that was
greatest city in the
really, really
world.
my dream.
Yeah.
And so
And
I went to Barnard for college and then stayed in the city for law school. I was at Fordham and kind of have never left this little tri-state area.
okay, all right. And do you have children?
I do. I do. I have two boys. My big one is 8 and the little one is a year and a half.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So you are busy. Wow.
I'm busy. They're a lot of fun though.
Yeah, that's really great. So how did you kind of gravitate towards the field to the area of law and the matrimonial area? Can you speak to that journey about how you landed here in
Oh, how did I land here? So,
hmm,
I probably went to law school in the first place because I had the kind of parents who, sort of were into having a profession, which, you know, with the benefit of hindsight, I probably should have been more like my own kids and not listened so much to my parents. But I was very, very guided by that. And so that's really how I made my way to law school. And I hated my first year of law school. Like, I've always been somebody who liked school. And I liked high school. I liked college, liked to learn, liked to be a student. I'm a studier. And I got to law school and I found it to be so boring and so stressful. Like it was just horrible, horrible. And I probably should have quit law school. But again, that was like, didn't also feel like it was me to start law school and then quit law school. So I was like, all right, I'm going to finish law school.
right.
And thankfully, after I made it past that first year, that was so dreadfully boring and so stressful. I really went on my own, journey to explore if there was anything worthwhile to me in the practice of law. And then, of course, what I loved was anything having to do with alternative dispute resolution.
Oh,
So, what I really knew I wanted to do by my second year of law school was mediate.
okay.
And I didn't want to be in a courtroom, but I really wanted to work with people. And the two areas of law where you have a chance of making a living, working in more of an alternative type of practice, is labor and employment and family law. And so that's really how I came to it, because I wanted to work in more of an alternative role. And I graduated into a really bad economy. So jobs were few and far between, but I was very, very fortunate to get hired by a firm that did they did not believe in collaborative. They did not believe in mediation. They thought it was so hokey, but they were very, very good to me. They believed in me and treated me very well and taught me a ton. And so I spent the first several years of practice really not doing anything besides for a very traditional divorce practice. But I'm thankful for that, because I learned from that too, and it gave me a really good base of knowledge. And even today, most of my practice was probably not mediation. It's probably not collaborative, even though I would love for it to be collaborative. But I bring the same collaborative mindset to everything I do, and I think my practice is better for it.
Yeah, well, the skills are definitely transferable in life and other practice in other areas.
Oh.
And I share that too, Ariella. I hated law school. My first year, hated every single day of it. Every day. I was like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. And I landed in a matrimonial firm, got acquainted with mediation. So I think we share maybe some other same sensibilities. It was, and I would get, the thought of litigating and going to court, just kind of ate me up. I mean, it was just really stressful for me. So it's interesting how we all kind of land where we are, with our
Everyone finds their way. It's
they
like
do
a parenting thing too, to remind your kids.
Yeah, for sure. So as you were kind of approaching your career, did you have some role models that you really, leaned into and looked to help guide you?
I've been thinking recently about who my role models are, and I've been having trouble pinpointing any one person or any, even somebody famous. I feel like at any given point, I'm picking things up from the people in my environment. I don't know. It's kind of a funny thing, but it's almost like the people around you end up saying the things that you need to hear at the right time.
Right.
And then as you look back, it's hard to piece together, right? Like who is influencing you, or what was meaningful. But I can recall that at the time, and kind of throughout my career and in other challenges and other things that I've been working toward and on in my life, I do feel like I'm always looking to external sources for advice and for inspiration.
Yeah.
And yet it's all just in the ether. I've got nothing. I don't have a single person to point to.
Right. But you draw upon it. It's when you're ready to hear it, or when you think about it, and it comes back to you, and you kind of go back and draw upon an experience. And, it's interesting that way. Yeah. So it sounds like you've been around, in terms of getting some really great experience with the firm that you're currently in, the firm that you were in before, and just learning from other professionals who've done this before, and maybe you can kind of, get that supervision or get that input.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, professionally, I have a long list of people that have been incredible mentors to me and teachers, and I've been very, very fortunate in that regard since when I was in law school. So fortunate.
Right. And a lot of the work that we do, is about relationships and about, reinventing or reforming, ending, beginning new. In your life, in your relationships, is there a best relationship that comes to mind for you that you really value and hold dear?
So as a divorce lawyer, I have a lot of opportunity to reflect on how fortunate I feel to have the relationship that I have with my husband. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty fortunate, I think, because sometimes I'll come home and I'll tell him, or I'll get off of a Zoom with a client or with parties in a mediation, and I'll just say, like, apropos of nothing, thank God. Like, I have gratitude to have gotten off that call or to have left that meeting and to have gotten to come home to this relationship. And that's really, really a gift. I'm so fortunate.
That is nice to have that support and
Mm.
to someone that you can just kind of sound off on and just be there to help you kind of detox, unwind, unpack. Because there's a lot of trauma that we deal with really on an ongoing basis, and it's not easy. We're doing a work of like conflict resolution, getting right into the conflict and hopefully making out in a better way or getting a better outcome, but being there and being present, but also receiving a lot. And I'm wondering, what do you do for yourself to kind of get through it, and to de-stress and to kind of unwind? Is there things that help you get through the day or help you?
What is helping me get through the day? I feel like you can definitely relate to this from when your kids were little. There's just no time. There's just running from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. But I think that the thing that I find the most worthwhile to create the time for is my relationships with my friends.
Yeah.
And it's hard in this moment in time with little kids and with a busy career to make time for friends. But that's the one thing that whenever I do make the time and go for a drink with somebody or do something or spend even just a few minutes on the phone, that really feels like for my mental health, it's just
That's
really
amazing.
therapeutic.
I totally agree. And I play Mahjong now with a group of friends. That's been a great little fun thing. But I get it. I have 3 kids, and I know when they were little, it was a juggling act. It was like my second shift never ended. Number one, it was really, and it was hard to kind of juggle it all. But having the support of friends and family, to kind of help you through it and is really nice. And you're fortunate to have that
Yeah.
and to make the time, and making that time. And do you like to cook at all? Do you cook? Do you have like a signature dish, or what's the last meal that you cooked? I'm trying to compile a cookbook for our NYCP gala event. We're going to be hitting 25 years of collaborative practice as an association. Anything?
Well, I think 25 years of the NYACP is remarkable, and I can't wait to come to the gala. So that really, really brings a smile to my face, and I'm very, very excited. And I know it's still like 11 months away.
And Barry Berkman, by the way, you have a firm with Mark Fleischer and Barry Berkman, who were literally the founders of our association. So you are like work with a firm and professionals who were the founders, which is pretty awesome.
I am very, very lucky. I have learned so much from Barry. He is a wonderful teacher. He's so much fun to work with. He is fantastic. But on to the
signature dish.
I mean, I hate cooking. There are a few things that I make, but I don't. I mean, I don't think you want tuna noodle casserole.
No, I want anything. If that is your signature tuna noodle casserole, so be it. I mean, there you go. If it is good, I actually haven't found I've liked tuna noodle casserole, so maybe yours I would like.
So many people hate tuna noodle casserole, like really, really hate it. And so I don't know how I feel about being like associated in the Collaborative Association cookbook with my little picture, like in my headshot, and the tuna noodle casserole, which most people find disgusting. I don't think we're doing it. But
okay, well, maybe something else. But listen, don't give it a bad rap. Maybe yours is amazing. I'm sure it is. So it's
I like it.
Yeah, if you like it, it's if you're cooking it and it's with love, there you go. So when you talk about, your membership in the association, you've been a member for how long about
I did my training in 2019. It was the last in-person NYACP run training before COVID.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
And
Okay.
then the life was really topsy-turvy. I'm trying to think if I became a member right away.
Well, you had a child in
Mm.
between, like after you have a year and a half old, so your
Oh
child.
yeah, but I was a member before I
Yeah.
had him. I think I've been a member either 3 or 4 years.
Okay. All right. And is there a memorable collaborative, an NYCP collaborative experience that comes to mind?
Hmm. I love being at the NYACP, and something I tell everyone is that it is such an active organization with so much going on and such an engaged membership that really, really wants to be friends with each other. And so I can't call to mind one great story, and probably longer term members than I do probably have amazing, hilarious stories. I don't have anything like that quite yet. But I have so, but I just love hopping on the membership committee Zooms and seeing
Yeah, and you're
everybody
very,
and spending time together and like, and just brainstorming about it's just
yeah,
about where the organization's going and how we're going to bring in new members. And um, I, I really just,
yeah, it's a
it's like
nice,
the NYACP is my happy place
oh,
in the
well,
legal world.
that is nice. It's a nice, warm community of like-minded professionals, and to be in that company is very gratifying and very energetic. You really get filled with that. It's a nice positivity, really, to begin. So in terms of like, being in the divorce field or the matrimonial, as an attorney, as a mediator, as a collaborative attorney, is there like a divorce tip that comes to mind if people were thinking about divorce or how to approach their divorce? Is there one tip that you can maybe that you could share to help them through this in the best way possible?
Hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, here, no, let me give you one. So what I find myself thinking is I give out opinions and tips and advice all day. I think we're very lucky as lawyers. I mean, in a mediation role, it's much harder because you have to pull back. But as an attorney, you tell people what to do all day. I mean, they can take or leave your advice. And so, and so I just feel like we're very fortunate to be able to be so opinionated. I think my one tip, if somebody was, and so I have tons of tips I'm constantly telling people, solicited or unsolicited. But my one
Right.
tip for somebody who's just starting out in a divorce process is to really, really find an advisor whose judgment they trust. And when I say judgment they trust, I don't just mean that you think they're a good, knowledgeable lawyer, because so much of what we end up advising people on and helping them through really is, it's not black letter legal issues, it's just judgment.
Mm,
And I'm always surprised, or I'm not always, I'm often surprised by how quickly and almost snap judgment people can be when they're interviewing lawyers for a divorce. And I don't know that they realize on the front end, this is a relationship that could go on for years
mm.
and really impact on so many different facets of their lives, that it's a real partnership that you're entering into when you make that decision.
Right. That's a really great point. And I really like that perspective. You are an advisor, you're being their advocate to connect with somebody to what they, if you resonate with their values and you're understood and they get you and they're
Mhm.
able to make and, help you make the best possible decision. And that connection is a big thing, and to feel comfortable with it, right? And to trust it. That's excellent. I really appreciate that. That's a great tip. I love it. So, in terms of, I always like to kind of end with thinking about where you hope to be in 10 years and where do you hope for collaborative practice to be?
So my hopes for myself and my hopes for the collaborative practice are one and the same. I want a bigger portion of my own practice to be collaborative with the full team. I love working that way. It is really, I love working in a collaborative case, and I I just I I want more and more of it for myself and for the organization. I want us to have a more robust membership, and and improve our abilities at bringing professionals into the collaborative community and bringing cases, converting cases that might otherwise just be regular negotiations or in court into a full collaborative process. And
Yeah, that's great. And what do you enjoy most about working in an interdisciplinary team? What does that give you as a practitioner?
I think there's something very comforting about having a financial person rather than me. And I've picked up, as you have, as all of us have, I've picked up a lot of working knowledge. And so I'm not bad. And I think in general, I know enough to know when I don't know something and when I need to call somebody in, even when I don't have a team. But I love to let a financial do their thing and advise all of us and take that pressure off of me, and to know that something is being done really well by a person who's qualified to do it. And similarly with a mental health professional, when things are getting really sticky, all of us at the NYACP are pretty good. We basically know what we're doing. But in those really hairy moments, there's no substitute for someone who's like,
Oh my
that's their
God.
training.
That's right. I mean, it really, and divorce is not just legal, it's parenting, it's communication, it's financial, it's relationships, it's all different threads. And to have that full team of qualified professionals to assist untangling that and unwinding and creating a new, it's like it's a big thing. It's a big undertaking, and to have that support for our clients available in that safe space of a collaboration is just pretty tremendous. I agree. Yeah. Well, listen, this has been so wonderful. I'm so happy that we got to connect and chat. And Ariella, where would people find you on the NYCP website, on the website of your law firm?
Absolutely.
You can be found.
I can be found.
Okay. Well, thanks again for your time, and looking forward to sharing more collaborative time with you in our association and beyond, and especially at our gala. And I'm
Oh,
sorry
I'm
to ask
looking
you about
forward.
that tuna noodle casserole.
God.
I don't want to put you on the spot. All right.
Melissa, thank you so much for having me. This has been a ton of fun.
Thanks. You're welcome. Take care.